Patient, forgiving, and sound wisdom. Okay, and patient, forgiving, and to receive wisdom. Who is okay, and patient, process the desire. Yeah, about to receive is ruling that person and receive. The second thing is young. The young are weak. Okay, weak up here and in here. So what do you have to teach them? Well, you got to tell them, hey, this is going to be great for you. Imagine learning all this stuff, right? So what you're doing, you're actually pampering a new person, one who's in their desire to receive, who is weak and uneducated. Uneducated means you've got no idea about the laws of nature. They've got absolutely no idea about what they're studying. So in that case, you've got to kind of like appeal to a person's desire to receive so that they will feel like they will get something good out of this. Okay. So when teaching the young, the women and the uneducated, we're obviously talking about a person who's new, doesn't have yet any, grasp on the wisdom, is a bit weak because the desire to receive is ruling that person, and obviously needs some motivation until they accumulate knowledge, which is also strength, right? Because the more I know, the more knowledge I accumulate, the more experiences I go through, I begin to become stronger because I can evaluate things a bit better as I'm stronger, okay? Because I understand what the process is. That comes through experience. So knowledge means experience and wisdom. Okay? Wise is he who has experience. And they're told that secret bit by bit. So it's little by little, as we study more and more and more and more, the wisdom opens up to us and it begins to reveal to us that, well, the whole idea here is to bestow and not to receive. All right, so that needs to be like kind of like a gradual process. And are accustomed to that matter with ease until they attain him and know him and serve him out of love. So as we progress forward, we then actually agree with the whole thing. We begin to get accustomed to the concept, to the idea, to the process. And accordingly, we're okay to work in that manner. And that was number 16. How are we doing? Anything happening? Nothing is happening. What's all quiet on the Western Front, I see. Okay. Item number 17. Let's go that way then. Item number 17, where are we? Okay, this is from Mishnah Masechet, from the part of Avot. Rabbi Meir says, Whoever engages in Torah for her sake is rewarded with many things. Moreover, he merits the whole world. He's called friend, beloved, and he loves the Creator, loves the people, delights the Creator, delights the people. If the Torah addresses him with humility and fear and qualifies him to be righteous, pious, honest, and faithful, it drives him away from sin and closer to merit. Counsel and sound wisdom, understanding and might benefit from him. As was said, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. Understanding power is mine. It gives him kingship, rulership, sharpness in judgment, and the secrets of the Torah are revealed to him. He becomes as an ever-flowing spring, as a river that never ceases. He is humble, patient, forgiving an insult, and it raises and elevates him above all the actions. All right, that's rather emotional. Let's read that again. Rav Meir says, whoever engages in Torah for her sake is rewarded with many things. Moreover, he merits the whole world. He is called a friend, beloved. He loves the Creator, loves the people, delights the Creator, delights the people. All right, so we're obviously talking about a person who's been completely now clothed with the attribute of bestowal. So he has a special relationship with the Creator, which is based on love. It dresses him with humility and fear and qualifies him to be righteous, pious, honest, and faithful. It drives him away from sin and closer to merit. So he's excelling, right, in the degrees of spirituality. He's going through corrections, okay? How? Through humility, by nullifying himself, and fear, right? Fear of not being able to bestow, and qualifies him to be righteous. So he's working on both lines, okay? To be righteous in the middle line, which is pious, hasid, which is mercy, is honest and faithful. Faithful is bestowing. It drives him away from sin, so he's correcting himself and closer to merit and excelling more to the higher degree. Counsel and sound wisdom, understanding and might benefit from him, as was said. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding, power is mine. Okay, so a person, as he excels in spirituality, discovers that he is now taking the reins of his own destiny into his own hands. So he has power. It gives him kingship, rulership, sharpness in judgment, and the secrets of the Torah are revealed to him. So his relationship with the Creator is deeper. Now he is more and more inside the secrets of the Torah, which is understanding the thought of the Creator, recognizing the Creator by his actions, learning about him, understanding him, feeling him. He becomes as an ever-flowing spring that is bestowing always, as a river that never ceases. He is humble, patient, forgiving an insult, and it raises and elevates him above all the actions. There you go. All right. So that is item number 17. Okay. And that's that. So we've just finished on the verge of Lishma, selected excerpts. We can now move on to, if there are no questions. All right, okay, there are no questions. We can now go on to faith above reason, selected excerpts from the sources. I hope everyone had a good Congress last weekend. If you were all there, that would have been great. And it was definitely a worthwhile Congress. It was very exciting, very energetic. And if you joined us there in your groups or in your tens, I'm sure you got a good boost. All right. If you keep sticking around with B'nai Baruch, you might just get another boost juice this weekend. So let's go with faith above reason. Selected excerpts from the sources. The first excerpt is from Rabash. Article number 236. The whole earth is full of his glory. Before one is fit to attain the truth, he must believe that the truth is not as he knows or feels, but that it is as it is written. They have eyes and they will not see. They have ears and they will not hear. This is only because of the correction in order for man to achieve his wholeness, for he feels only himself and not another reality. Hence, if one returns his heart to trying to walk in faith above the intellect, by this he qualifies and establishes it so as to achieve the revelation of the face, as is presented in the Zohar, that the Shekhinah said to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, there is no place to hide from you, meaning that in all the concealments that he felt, he believed that there was the light of the Creator. This qualified him until he achieved the revelation of the face of his light. This is the meaning of the measure of the faith that pulls one out of every lowliness and concealment. If a person strengthens himself in this and asks the Creator to reveal himself. All right, so we need to sort out our attitude, right? So let's see how we're going to manage that. How we're going to relate to the process, right, in our spiritual development. So before one is fit to attain the truth, he must believe that the truth is not as he knows or feels, but it is as it is written, they have eyes and they will not see, they have ears and they will not hear. So basically, when we start studying spirituality, in this case, the wisdom of Kabbalah, obviously, we need to understand that the world, the truth, the state I'm in, the state the world is in, it's just nothing to do with how I see things. Right? My perception of reality is completely faulty. I am completely living in a lie, despite the fact that I may not feel like I'm living in a lie. Okay? For me, everything might be just sweet. Right? So a person, doesn't matter what state he's going through, whether it's good or bad, doesn't really matter. The sages say, listen, everything you're going through right now, you've got no idea. Okay? It's a big fat lie. Why? Because you're not seeing the truth and you can't hear, even if they tell you you can't hear. Why? Because when we're in a desire to receive for ourselves, even if they scream to us and say, you need to love others, it just does not hear. Okay? It's not going there. Okay? It just goes by the ear somewhere. Okay? But never in the ear. Even if it goes in the ear, it doesn't go through a process in between the ears, and then it goes out the other one. Okay? So we're lacking the hearing, we're lacking the seeing. And the more we study the wisdom of Kabbalah, we begin to understand that we don't hear this kind of stuff. Okay, we can hear about what we're going to get. We can hear about what we're going to attain. We can hear about all the worlds and stuff. Oh, this is great. But then they say, hey, listen, you got to love your friends. Oh, no, don't want to hear about it. Okay, so that's just how it is, because our desire to receive blocks things which it doesn't really have a connection with. So if it's not connected to receiving something for my personal benefit, it's not really going to, absorb anything. So like we read in the excerpt before in the other topic, there has to be some process, some time that I'm chewing the material. I'm turning it inside out. I'm spending a lot of time going through it, studying, getting involved in the group so that something can begin to slowly change and impact me. This is only because of the correction in order for man to achieve his wholeness, for he feels only himself and not another reality. So the reason we can't see the truth, or we don't want to even hear about the truth, is because we're so engulfed in ourselves. We're in a swamp of egoism, and the only thing that's really important to us is us, okay? And nobody else. And in fact, nothing else, okay? So it's just the way it is. So as long as I'm the only important person for me, who cares what other people are saying? It's important what I'm saying. All right. So it's very difficult to delve into the wisdom of Kabbalah in the initial phases, obviously, and to actually grasp what it's talking about. A person is just not there. Hence, if one returns his heart to trying to walk in faith above the intellect, now that's where we need to get in. So the work starts if one turns his heart to trying to walk in faith above the intellect. There should come a time after I've started studying where I feel like I need to look at it from a different perspective, that I can't grasp it in my mind, and I have to like put my mind aside and just do what the Kabbalists say. Okay, so I need to get to that critical point, because that's like a pivotal point there. It's like a pivotal point which I need to go through, and that will kind of like get me used to the study if I keep doing it. By this, he qualifies it and establishes it so as to achieve the revelation of the face. Now, the revelation of the face of the Creator means bestowal being the attribute of bestowal being apparent to me, and that is going to take time. So by the time I get there, we have to be doing a lot of going above reason the best we can. Okay, because above reason is basically that I am in bestowal. Okay, above reason means I'm above my desire to receive. However, despite the fact that we're not there yet and we don't have the attribute of bestowal, we can practice that, because every time my logic tells me that this is not right, or I don't want to do it and I shouldn't have to do it, then I've got the opportunity to put my mind aside and go above it and do it by force. Kind of like going to work every day. Not particularly want to, but I have to. All right. So that's how it basically is. It is a person studying spirituality as well doesn't really want to be engaged in loving others, bestowing to others. So what we have to do here is, well, I don't want to really do this, but on the other hand, I feel from that dot in the heart that I have to do something, so I want to do it. So on the one hand, I don't want to do it. On the other hand, I feel like I've got to do it. So I'm in a bit of a dilemma. And if I go and put my thoughts aside and just do it, it's like, just do it. And then you can put your trainers on and start running, okay? And then you can work on the whole thing. And then once you start working, then you get used to this rhythm of going against what you want to do. Now, this exercise procedure is good, because the more I'm doing things against my desire, I'm kind of getting used to working against my desire. Why is that important? Well, because we're doing it in our group, but in the previous excerpts, what did the Kabbalists tell us? The Kabbalists said, listen, loving your friend and loving the Creator is the same thing. So acting towards your friend and acting towards the Creator is the same thing, right? We just read about it. So the more exercises I'm doing, the more I'm getting engaged in this, and the more activities I do against my desire to receive, then what happens? Well, I begin to get used to going against my desire to receive. Now, if I can start to go against my desire to receive with the friends, could it be possible that I could do that with the Creator as well? Highly likely. All right, because we're getting practice, like kids get practice. So in the group, we're getting practice. So this allows me to get used to what I should be doing with my desire to receive when working with it. And as in the Zohar said, Shekhinah said to Rabbi Shimon, Rashbi, there's no place to hide from you. So the Creator tells Rashbi, there's nowhere to hide from you. Why? Meaning that in all the concealments that he felt, he believed that there was the light of the Creator. So Rashbi basically did something very straightforward. He said, it doesn't matter what I'm going through. It's only from the Creator. And I feel and I believe that it's for my own good. So that was a straightforward attitude. And despite what he went through, he kept his faith in the Creator. Now, when you're going up the ladder, it's not easy to do that because you need to go one step up. Every time you need to go one step up, you're going to have more coarseness to overcome, right? But if you use the environment correctly, then every time you feel that heaviness, you can actually use the environment to support you so you can go against your desire to receive. And the more you can do that, the more excel in the steps of the ladder you will be. And then the Creator will say, well, I can't hide from you. You're everywhere. Okay. And that's how the person needs to be. What does it mean? It means that in every desire or in every coarseness I reveal in me, I'm going over it. So the Creator doesn't have a place to hide. Why? Because I'm completely opening up now. I'm going above the coarseness and I'm not really thinking about the desire to receive for myself. I'm putting it aside. This is the meaning of the measure of the faith that pulls one out of every lowliness. So faith is the attribute of bestowal. So in every new degree, I've got to renew it. I've got to strengthen it for the new degree of coarseness that's just revealed in me. So with every lowliness and concealment, I have to add on to it faith. And the way I can do that is to go above reason, which means I put my desire to receive for myself aside for the moment and go above that. And if a person strengthens himself in this and asks the Creator to reveal himself, then obviously everything's going to be honky-dory, as they say. Okay, so the person needs to reveal the situation, turn to the Creator, ask for help, get the help, and then move forward. And then we've got the next step coming up. So in every degree of spirituality, this is the procedure. So the first thing I've got to do is to put my personal calculations aside. Right? This is why I always have to say kind of yes to whenever we have a group activity, right? Well, for example, we're going to go to a congress. Well, it's a weekend. Well, I work all week and I get a break on the weekend, and now what? A congress. I mean, like, come on. I want to go out, have some fun, you know? Hang out with the guys, hit the town, hit the deck, whatever. Okay. So what's going to happen? I'm going to say, sorry, guys, I can't come out this weekend. Why? I've got a Kabbalah Congress with the other guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Maybe next week. And then I'm thinking, no, I can't do it next week either because we've got a special situation happening again. Oh, crikey. All right. Guys, forget it. We're just going to do it 2 weeks later. Okay. And that's just how it is. So what's happening all the time? I'm trying to get something done and my desire to receive is in the way. So I've got to use the environment and say, okay, you know what? We've got to strengthen ourselves up. So how can we do that? By giving each other the importance of the goal, and happiness is the most important thing. If we're all happy about the process we're going through, including the ups and downs, that's all good. And then we can join in the party with the Kabbalah guys instead of the desire to receive guys. And we'll both end up happy all the time. So it is, right? It's only hard until you stick your head in. Okay, this is look. Your desire to receive is always going to be like going backwards, right? Your feet are always going to be going backwards. It's not going to want to get there. So the most important, the critical thing here is this, just saying, oh, I'm going to stick my head in. right? If I just stop for a moment and put one step forward and you stick your head in, you get forces immediately. So it's that initial action of sticking your head in when you don't want to stick your head in is the difficult part. Because once you do that, you get the energy, you get the power, you get the joy, you get the motivation. It just flows through. Yeah. But until that first move from you, there's a resistance. Now, if you can identify the resistance, identify you don't want to do it. Oh, no. Okay. If you can identify that, then that's good. Now you got something to think about, right? Now you can use your mental faculties. Now you can use the experience from the past and say to yourself, oh, I went through this before. I didn't want to go last time either. Okay. But I did go. And something really nice happened. And now I'm in an even bigger dilemma because last time I went, something really nice happened. Now I don't want to go again. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should go again. Maybe something nice might happen again. Okay. So this is like inner work. So you got this conversation with yourself. It's like these two angels on each of your shoulders having a little bit of a chit chat. You're thinking, no, yes, no, really? Yeah. So you're like in between stuck. And that's how it is. And that dilemma is good because the dilemma allows you to clarify your situation. Remember, before we read, the more you do, the greater the lie you discover. So the more lies I'm discovering by going through contradictions in my life towards spirituality and against spirituality, the more coarseness I can reveal, right? And every little thing I reveal is like, it's like another, oh, not again. Okay. And then you got to work with that again. Okay. So it's like, not again, yes, again. Okay. It's like, so you're stuck in those two things. But that's the way to clarify the matter. And then you can then reconcile those two opposite situations, what you don't want and what you do want. Okay. That's when you can reconcile. And the only time you're going to reconcile it is when you stick your head in afterwards. If you don't, you're still going to be in the dilemma. So an action is required when you're in between those two states, and you've got to be in between those two states all the time in order to overcome every situation. So a new situation happens, then you're in that dilemma again. You need to overcome it again. And that's only going to happen if you use the environment to attract the light, which is that empowerment and the wisdom. And then, well, and then it's like bingo, innit? That's how it works out. Any questions? One question after all that explanation. All right, Baruch is asking, it became more difficult for me to be kind and humble in the study. Do you have any recommendations for me? Yeah, I'm just recommending for the past half an hour. If it's difficult, go the other way. Like in the study, we're going to be impatient. We're going to be impatient. We're going to be agitated. We're not going to like the situations we're going through. We're not going to like the attitude of the friends. We're just not going to like anything. Okay, it's just how it is. So my personality is always going to be in conflict. It's going to have moments where it's just not going to be in agreement with the process we're going through. I'm not going to be in agreement with the people I'm with, the path, the guide, the Rav, the creator. Everything is like the whole world is like against me, right? And what you have to do is strengthen yourself in the group all the time, because that's just a sign of your egoism increasing, and it's supposed to. Okay, if it didn't, we'd stay like a little animal all the time. So ego needs to increase, so I got something to work with. So the more difficult it is, the more connected I've got to be with the group so I can get more force from them. Now, initially, when I say to myself, oh, I got to connect with the guys so I can get more force from them, even that's like a rejection. Like, wait a minute. In order to get strength, I got to connect with a bunch of people that I don't want to connect with. Okay. So it's completely contra logic. Okay. But that's where the effort is. And it's also the truth for very successful people in corporate reality. They're always going against people who say you can't do it, right? If you look at very successful people, they're always the ones who get stuff done that regular people don't believe it can be done. You understand what I mean? Right? So you have to be in a state where, yeah, we can do it all the time. You have to be. That's just how it is. All right. And the only way to do that is like we're reading the articles now. You see, it's telling us what we're going to go through. It's telling us what we're going through as well. It's telling us, listen, everything you're living right now is a dream. You got no idea. You got eyes, they don't see anything. You got ears, you can't even hear the truth. Okay. So they're already giving us all the tips as we study. We just have to understand that we're new in the process. And new, it means like several years. It's new, right? A 7-year-old child is still a child. The 7 years of wisdom amounts to jack. Okay, that's it, zilch, 7 years. What is it? Nothing. You know, you begin to learn life by the time, you know, you're around 40 and you begin to like, well, this is life. You know, this is like, you go through a lot of stuff and you say, oh my God, this is what they call life, right? The most interesting people I've met are all over 40 and they're still wondering the meaning of their life. It's like gone through so much stuff, okay? Because they still don't know what to do with themselves, right? And that's good. It's good. It's interesting. People are exactly that kind of people. And this is with us as well. So what makes our path really interesting is we're constantly in this dilemma and I constantly don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know how to turn to the creator. I don't know how to connect with the friends. I don't know how I'm supposed to be bestowing to the friends. What does it mean to be connected? Like, you can be in this for 10 years and you say, what is he talking about? Okay. And it's like that. And it's true. Connect with what? What am I supposed to connect with what? Okay. So you can be in this business for years and still thinking, I got no idea. And as you look at your watch, it's like 10 years gone by. It's just how it is, right? So the important thing to understand here is because we do not hear, we cannot hear. And the only way to do is to build good friendship with the guys. You gotta build good friendship with the guys. And this is why everybody has to be good towards each other. Everyone has to be, because the more they're good, the more I can at least have some kind of a relationship. Because I don't want to initially, but if they're good, at least I can say, well, they're good people. Okay. So my desire to receive can at least have some little approach to them. All right. And that's why it's so important that everybody treats the friends with joy, happiness, good mood, motivation. If we all do a little bit, it adds up, you know, and then the whole group has got a bit of joy on their sides. And then you can kind of like keep coming back and back and back, because you can say, well, at least, you know, at least they're nice guys, right? Somehow. I don't know how that's happening either, but somehow it looks okay. That's the only way. And then I'm supposed to, obviously, when I'm seeing them this nice as well, it also irritates me. Why? Because they're also coochie moochie, right? And then I'm thinking, what are these people? Right? Just like completely wackos, out of this world. Right? And then it begins to irritate me as well. Now, on top of the irritation, I've got to kind of build something on top of their good attitude as well. I'm like, oh, they're so good and I feel so bad. And I'm like, not good. Okay. So then I've got more work to do. You see, it's this ongoing thing all the time. You get agitated by one thing. They treat you nicely, you're agitated. They treat you normally, you're agitated. They treat you badly, you're agitated. You're constantly in this, like, I don't know, coffee grinder. All right. But that's just how it is. And if you keep to the study is very important, day by day. So we're working all the time. And the more we work, the light is working on us as well. That's also a very important thing to understand, because if we are directed towards the creator is in that system. If I'm in the corporeal world and I'm directed towards corporeality, it's the corporeal system working on me, right? So if I'm here working towards the creator, then the creator's light is working on me, because life is working on me according to how I choose my direction. So even if I'm, even if I don't feel like I'm growing up or getting anywhere in the study, the light is gradually changing me. And how are you going to get that? It's all from the lessons. You see, we read a lot. Our job is like a lot of reading, and then a lot of chewing what we're reading, a lot of trying to do what we're supposed to pick up from the reading. And then we're reading even more to evaluate the state he said we'd be going through, that we are going through. You know what I mean? So it's this constant chewing and chewing and chewing. It's like a cow with 7 stomachs. All right? You're eating the grass, and it has to go through 7 parts of those stomachs. There's 7 parts in the stomach to get digested. That's exactly what we're doing. So it takes a bit of patience. You need to understand it takes patience, but such is life. Okay, life requires us to be patient. So if I take the same principles, look, if I take the same logical principles of corporeality, apply it to what I want to attain in spirituality, then you can see the principles are the same. If I want to make something great out of myself, I understand it's going to be difficult corporeally, right? Let's say if I want to be a doctor, a professor, some scientist, I don't know, whatever. I understand this is going to take time, yes? I understand it's going to take hard work. So I understand I need to be patient, and I need to be consistent, and I need to be doing this thing. Well, same with spirituality. So if I want to be a spiritual guy, okay, then what you got to understand is, well, this is going to take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, and I'm going to have to work towards it. Why are there not a lot of scientists in the world? I mean, there are 8 billion people, but not a lot of scientists. Why? Because nobody wants to go that way. Everybody wants the sweet and easy life. Okay? Why are there not many spiritual people in the world? Because nobody wants to go up that alley. Everybody wants to think, well, why would I want to go there? First of all, you don't know if you're going to get anything. Okay. So people are thinking very logically, wait a minute. First of all, we don't know if this thing is real or not, because nobody's ever seen it, right? That's first thing. So second of all, you don't know what you're going to get either. And the Kabbalists are saying, well, you're going to get the whole world. Great. What is the whole world? You're going to love everyone. Dude. Okay. So you're like, I mean, who wants to go there? It's true. And if we didn't have a dot in the heart, if we hadn't had an awakening, we wouldn't move a fraction of a millimeter towards spirituality. It's just because we've got this little dot that says, listen, hey, work me out. Okay? That's just how it is. So you got to work out your dot in the heart. And that's, as you do it, it gets stronger. All right? And you got to understand patience, consistency, moving forward with the guys is important. It's the same principles as corporeality, really, no different. Okay, this is the only difference in corporeality is you can imagine what you're going to get, because there's an example, there's a scientist, there's an athlete, there's a businessman, there's a doctor. You know, plus or minus, you got a vision. With spirituality, you got nothing, zilch. So you got to build that vision. Okay, so from the writings, you've got to build a vision, what it would be like to perceive reality like the Creator. What would it be like if I was to change my complete nature to something else? You've got to build it, okay? And that's how you're going to do it in the group. But the principles of study are the same. The laws of nature don't change, and it won't change. So this is how we've got to handle it. All right. And I think that's the only question we had tonight. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And this is like a long lesson. We did an hour today. Well, there you go. All right. It's the coffee I had before the lesson. Now I can't sleep all night. All right. Well, you guys have a good one. And we'll see you guys next time. All the best. Have a good one.